Today we're making a watercolor wash. You'll need a piece of watercolor paper, plus a bigger piece of paper to act as a placemat. Place your watercolor paper on the placemat, then Mrs. Celeste will come around with 4 pieces of tape for you. Take the tape and place one piece on the top, one on the side, another on the bottom, and another on the other side to make sure your piece of watercolor paper is taped down to your placemat. This is going to keep your paper nice and smooth when we're painting so it doesn't curl up. Take a pencil and write your name on your placemat before you get started painting. Now the first thing you're going to do for a watercolor wash is you need to get your paper a little bit wet first. So first we're just going to paint with water. I'm painting very gently back and forth, just doing a thin layer of water. I'm not getting the paper soaked, but just making sure the paper is a little wet all the way across. Now it's time to paint. We're using analogous colors. Those are colors that are next to each other in the color wheel so that they look good when they blend together. We're doing purple and blue. Gives it kind of a wintry look. So make sure your brush is nice and wet because that activates the watercolor. Dip it into the watercolor. Get some good color on there. And then just like with the water, we're just going to spread back and forth, back and forth. We're starting at the top, going down to the bottom. Back and forth really gently. Your brush is like an elegant dancer, dancing back and forth across the paper. When you want to pick another color, please remember to wash your brush off in the water. And then you can dip into a different color. Spread that back and forth on the paper. Of course, you can mix the colors on your paper, just don't mix them in the tray. So the watercolor wash is just a nice wash of watercolor across the paper. It gets it all filled up and it blends together really nicely. So when you like the way your colors look, you can put your brush back in the water, close up the paint. Now we're going to do something called salt resist. So what you're going to do is take a little pinch of salt, just one pinch, very carefully sprinkle it over your paper like magic dust. And again, that's it, just one pinch. And then put your art in the drying rack to dry. The salt's going to do something really cool to the paper as it dries.